So we're back then with another mod and build guide video for Marvel's Midnight Suns. Today we'll look at the latest DLC character, Venom. He is an absolute amazing character. He's so much better than the first DLC character we got, Deadpool, and he's got a really interesting card that completely changes how you actually build mods on him. So we're moving away from the usual quick and free mods, so it's quite good to do that because it does get pretty boring just putting that on all your cards. So this video, normally what I do is I show off all the available mods, I talk about my favourite ones, and then show the deck I'm using, then I show some Ultimate Free gameplay. I'm going to do the deck section and the Ultimate Free gameplay in a later video. The reason being it's taken a while to get the exact mods that I actually want, but for the purpose of this video, so that you can start actually building your deck today, what I'm going to do is run over the 10 different cards that's available for Venom, all the different mods that's available, and I'll tell you what mods I'll be looking to use and why I'll be looking to use them as well. Now, if the video is helpful, please do take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button. And with that out of the way, let's dive in and let's have a look at these cards. So when it comes to breaking down the cards for the heroes, what we'll generally do is show the Midnight Suns card last. However, the Midnight Suns card for Venom is so instrumental to the rest of his kit and the build we're actually going to be using. I'm going to show it off first so that way you get some context for the build we're actually building towards. This is an incredible card. I absolutely love what they've done with this. So it's called Assimilation. With this one here, Venom attacks and heroics gain quick, so that's ones that are in your hand, and on KO you draw a Venom attack or heroic card until the end of the turn. What's amazing about this is when you get a KO and you draw that additional attack or heroic card, that will have quick on it as well. I didn't think it would work that way, but it does. So it means if you can pull this card early on in the match, if you can get some KOs under your belt, then you can just annihilate everything in turn number 1. Also with this, you gain 1 Ravenous. That's the resource that Venom uses that helps boost up the damage he does. With this card as well, I will just mention it's got Exhaust. You can only use it once. In regards to the available mods that are on it, because of the card type it is, you can actually get free on this. The only issue with that, as much as it's nice to get a free card play, is that it then means it doesn't generate any heroism, so you might struggle a little bit. So what I actually prefer to do is go for the 2 additional heroism, and what that means is you get 2 on the card as standard, so it bumps it up to +4 heroism. So that's the particular mod that I would go for. So the next card we have here is your standard quick card. This is Bowden Strike. It does 50% of your base damage. It chains twice and it has quick on it as well. It's a pretty awesome card. Now, in regards to the different mods you can get on it, you can use it to spread your status effects. So you could use it to spread weak, bleed, vulnerable or marked. Personally, I like to go for 1 additional chain on it. Now the reason for that is the way this card works with Assimilation. If you use Assimilation first, and then let's say for example you got 3 kills using this card with 3 lower level enemies, it will actually generate 3 cards as well. So the way I look at it, rather than it being 1 additional damage portion we're doing via the +1 chain, we're actually doing additional damage and we're generating an additional card as well potentially. So that's the reason I go for that particular mod. Going forward then with the rest of the damage cards I'll show off, we're going on the assumption that we've actually used Assimilation first to gain quick on them, so that's why we're not going for the quick mod on these particular cards. Of course, if you want to go for a build where you're not using Assimilation, you'll use quick instead, but we're going to get it via that particular card, and it just makes things a lot more interesting for the mods. So for this one here, this is Webtos, Forceful Knockback in any direction. A knockback in any direction is pretty awesome. The fact it's forceful as well is really pretty great. What I like to go for on a card such as this would be the gain 1 strengthening KO, so that'll give you your additional 50% damage. The next attack card we have here is Lethal Embrace. For a basic attack card, this can hit really hard. I think it's around about 150% base damage is what it starts off with. Also, if the target has full health, then you're doing an additional 150% base damage. Once again, you're generating 1 heroism. In regards to the mod, for a bit of fun, I've never really used this mod before, but I like to lean into the fact that we're using this card on a target that has full health. So you can see one of the available mods, the one I've highlighted, offers you 100% additional offense if the enemy is at full health. So the damage on this, Venom really needs to be leveled up. I've not had much time to play around with them, but the damage on this, on an enemy at full health for a basic attack card with this particular mod, you'll be doing over 500 damage, and that's not a crit or anything like that, so that's absolutely awesome. The next card we have here is Symbiotic Scent. He's a card that can be good for keeping your Ravenous resource up. However, I can't really justify using it, because if we look at the card, you'll draw one Venom card. It's an attack or heroic card. That's not as useful, because if you have a simulation and you're getting kills, you'll be drawing cards left, right and centre anyway. You'll run out of cards you can draw. You normally get that many on Venom, so that part of the card isn't useful. So it means all the card is actually offering is that the next two attack cards played do not consume Ravenous. For me personally, I don't think that's worthwhile when you can only have 8 cards in your kit. If you were to use it for any reason, then I would probably go for the additional 2 heroism, and that would pull it up to 4 heroism in total. The next card we have here, another skill one. This one is really amazing. You definitely want to have one of these in your kit at a bare minimum. It's Insatiable Hunger, so you'll gain 1 Ravenous. You gain 1 additional Ravenous at the start of the next turn, and it also has free. So what makes this card really nice, of course gaining the Ravenous is good, but the fact that it's free, it means when you add a mod onto it, you're getting that mod for free. So different mods that you can use. The one I would personally recommend is additional 2 heroism. However, you could also use, for example, 2 redraws or draw the last attack. The fact you're getting that for free is absolutely awesome. So really great card, this one. This next card we have here is Venom's only AoE card. This is Spike Burst. It's actually a pretty large area, and it's a decent amount of damage it does as well. So with this, you'll damage each enemy in an area. There's a 10% chance to apply bind to each target. I don't really factor that in because the chance is so low. In regards to mods for this particular card, it can be nice to actually use it to apply vulnerable because it's over a pretty decent area. Although personally what I like to go for is a moderate increase to AoE. It actually increases it by a fair amount, and also through your stats you can increase your AoE size as well, so you can really get this to hit a substantial amount of enemies. Moving on to the heroic cards here, this one is a nice card, but I'm just not convinced we have enough space in our kit for it. So it's Symbiote Bind. You apply bind, which is great because when you attack an enemy it won't break the bind, they'll still stay in that status, and you also draw a Venom card for each attack against the target this turn. So if it's a larger enemy, one of the ones with the shield, and you've attacked them multiple times, then you can draw a ton of cards. However, via the Assimilation legendary card, normally you're not shorting cards. That's why the value of this is pulled down a little bit. If you were to use it, I would go for the free mod on it. Getting free on it and what it offers, a free bind and the ability to draw additional cards if you potentially need them, can be really great. The next card we have here is the Bowden Strike. This one's pretty awesome. Now I should just mention, on your chain cards previously, I would always recommend to use marked, because what would happen on the first hit of the chain, it would apply marked. If you then defeated the enemy, it would take them out. That has been changed. It doesn't work that way anymore, so marked isn't as good on chain cards anymore, unfortunately. But for this one here anyway, it's the Bowden Strike. You chain a weapon 4 times on KO. This does not consume Ravenous, and bear in mind we should be using this when we have Quick from Assimilation. So the way this would work is you take out a lower level enemy. It means you're not consuming Ravenous. It means you're getting the card play back via Quick, and then for the remaining 3 chains, what I like to do is add the Vulnerable mod. So you're adding Vulnerable to 3 other enemies potentially, and bear in mind we've got other cards in this kit that can help them keep Ravenous up for 50% bonus damage, and then we've got that particular card we talked about earlier on that adds Strengthened on KO, so the enemy will take 50% more damage and you'll do 50% more damage to them as well. So really awesome combo. The final card we have here is Tasty Brains. It's a single target attack card. It does a real whopping amount of damage. It's got Lifesteal on KO. The next Venom attack card played does not consume Ravenous. What I would say in regards to mod wise in this card, because we're getting Quick via Assimilation, what I would probably go for, because you don't have a great deal of ways of generating heroism on Venom other than when you start off with Assimilation, is I would actually go for +2 heroism on KO on this particular card. You can see the heroism cost is free. It means as long as you take someone out, then it's only costing you 1 heroism, which is really pretty awesome. So what I'm going to do is, I don't have the deck to show off here, but a quick summary of roughly what you're aiming for with this build until I get the next video out. So of course you want Assimilation, you want your additional heroic energy on that particular card. and then from there all your other attack cards that you would normally go for quick on, you're wanting to get some nice effects in there, such as your chain ones applying vulnerability, such as a card that's almost guaranteed to get a kill, giving you the strengthened on KO as well. And if you do that, you'll be absolutely mopping up with Venom. And once again, I will have the video out pretty soon showing the exact deck that I'm actually using. But let me know what you think of Venom, let me know what you think of the mods that I'm looking to use on him in this particular build setup, and thanks for tuning in for this. Stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon.